fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Q's show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Deku. And well, quite a bit of things have happened, but let me summarize them as fast as I can, and as short as possible. Deku, he racked up a kill count of 5. 1 human, 4 xenomorphs. And this impressed the Yautja. The young unblooded Yautja that was going after Deku, after the two confronted one another in the middle of the night with a knife fight, xenomorphs came to attack them. Them ceasing their fight and working together to kill them. In the process of the battle, Deku took her mask. The mask got damaged by the xenomorphs, and the Yautja, she got knocked out. However, they were able to take out the enemies. Now, Deku is currently sitting down with the Yautja tied up and trying to interrogate her, as we actually have Deku. He's standing there pointing the gun right at the Yautja, with one hand, as he does actually bring his hand out to the left. And the Yautja does turn her head to see her broken mask and some of her equipment. Now, she does start talking to Deku, telling him that he can't have those. You're not really in control here. Now, I'm very curious. This isn't some sort of joke anymore. I learned that after the first few hours on this planet. Along with that, I'm very curious. Your people. You kidnapped us and brought us here. I'm correct, aren't I? That would be correct. I see. Now, this is going to be very, very simple. I've already looked over a lot of your equipment. You have basic stuff. And you really thought coming after me with this stuff would get you the win? Now, the Yautja, she is looking at Deku. She does respect him. He's proved to be a blooded warrior. Along with that, he far exceeds any expectations any Yautja had for a prey. Based on the data they got from him alone, he's far exceeded it. He has more maneuverability than they predicted, more combat experience than they predicted, and more knowledge and experience than they all predicted. Deku's feats are far above anything they could have calculated for him. And that to a Yautja is startlingly impressive. Even the fact that Deku over the course of a week has learned their language and is having a conversation with them. Now, the Yautja, she's staring at Deku, as she at least does do him the honor of explaining things, since Deku in their culture would outrank her. Now, Deku does learn quite a bit. They are still in the Milky Way. However, they are nowhere near Earth. Now, this is all quite extreme for Deku to hear. Right now, they're on a planet that could be best described as, well, let's just put it in a simple way. They are 5 to 7 solar systems over from Earth. And that distance alone in between each one is long. Now, she does continue to explain to Deku. Because of his father, they're being hunted. Because of his unique trait and his genetics, they believe that he would be a worthy hunt, and they were very correct. Now, Deku, he's very confused and impressed to hear about all this. The fact that alien hunters deemed him worthy to try and kill, that's at least worth something to him, but he would really rather be back home. Now, you do actually where Deku, he does get to hold up a piece of equipment, as he does get to start maneuvering it and messing with it. Deku going to actually twist and pull as this metal bar does go to elongate and something does going to pop out the front or the top of it, as two blades do shoot out and directly connect together. Now, Deku does talk about how this weapon to him is very interesting. If she were to have used this against him, she might have actually won. Now, the Yautja, she does actually look at Deku, explaining to him that she did actually want to test him first, and that she believed that the battle would not have gone uninterrupted. However, the Xenomorphs were unpredicted. I see. Well, along with that, I've already examined your mask. Based on the data I could get from it, if I had the proper equipment, I could make something very similar, or even repair this. Along with that, I believe that there's an air filter inside of it. You don't breathe oxygen, do you? We do not. I thought so. So, your people are going to come after you. I'll be ready for them. They won't. Excuse me? They won't come after me. I'm unblooded. Besides, I failed. My prey captured me. And, right now, I'm at your mercy. So you might as well just kill me now. No. I'm not going to do that. Why not? Simple. You are my prisoner right now. If I can use you to lure them out, I can create a trap. It'd be easier that way. Besides, the information you're giving me right now is actually pretty impressive and important. So, is there anything else you're hiding from me? I have your knives, your spear, and this gun. Along with that, Deku is going to hold up something in his hand, talking about how, along with this. Now, the Yautja is staring at Deku. That thing he has in his hand, well, what is that? Interesting. So this isn't something you brought here. This must be Earth-based technology then, or at least something similar. Now, Deku does talk about how he found it at a place that they're going to be heading to, as he does go turn and directly go to wrap up the equipment. The Yautja trying to actually lunge forwards at Deku, as Deku does turn his head and watches the Yautja she does try to break free from her restraints, as she does find that her feet are tied together, her arms are tied together. Along with that, well, the bend in her arms, along with her other arms, are tied together to her torso, as she does go falling forwards and almost landing on Deku. Now, Deku would have explained to her that for a person her size, he would have used about half that rope. However, he tripled it just because of how strong her species are, and that it does seem like it was a worthy amount of time used. Now, this actually does annoy the Yautja. This human is unpredictable. Now, Deku, after collecting all the equipment, he does go to walk over and pick up the Yautja, as he does put her up onto his shoulder, as he does hold the gun in his left hand as he is walking. Now, the Yautja is very annoyed. This is no way for her to be treated. She is the daughter of the leader of their clan. And today, this hunt was supposed to prove many things. This hunt was supposed to see to it that she was worthy of being his daughter. And it does enrage her. Now, she is trying to fight against it, As Deku, he would explain to her that if she does keep fighting, he'll just have to knock her out. And that won't be fun for either of them. Now, Deku, yeah. He is walking through the forest, as eventually he does find a bunker. Now, Deku, he is looking at it, and he does just think, as he's going to set the Yautja down to the ground, and then going to walk over. As Deku does look down towards the ground and start to look around. Now, Deku is going to actually pull some of these things out of his bag, as he does start to look at the devices and pull up a map. The Yautja watching as the hologram does pop up, and Deku does start to actually flip through it as if he knows this technology. Deku actually finding the map page and looking to see the danger level on this bunker. As Deku does notice that it's actually significantly lower. That's strange. Now, Deku does hear something in the bushes, as he's going to turn around and see that there's nothing there. Now, this is very surprising, and there actually is where Deku is going to look down towards the ground, as he does try to see if there's any footprints. Now, this is actually where Deku is going to grab the metal bar that's directly behind the back of his waist, or his back. And he's making sure that he at least has it on standby. Now, Deku does at least try to whistle, or say something in Yautja, as you actually where something does respond back. Now, Deku, he does actually wait for a minute. It responded back in, well, Japanese, not Yautja. And there actually something does come flying right at Deku. Deku actually going to move his head and dodge, as a knife goes directly flying and bouncing off of the metal door behind him. Now, Deku does just shout something in Japanese, talking about how he's human. Now, Deku, yeah. After that does actually happen, you do have where two people do come walking up, as Deku does see them. Both of them apologizing for the mistake, as they do look at Deku, who he does have, well, blood, dirt, and oil covering his entire body. Along with that, they actually do see the equipment he does have on him. He has something on his belt, a broken mask, a bandage on part of his face, and, well, looky. Wherever you look on the ground, there's one of those alien bastards tied up. Now, the two people actually do look right at Deku, as they do ask exactly if he took this one on. Oh, yeah, I did. This one here tried to take me on in the middle of the night. And those other creatures came out. Other creatures? Have you guys ever encountered them before? No, I don't think so. Okay. Well, they're large bipedal aliens. And they have some sort of, I think it's not skin, it's like armor. And they have acidic blood. And a tail. Now, these two people, they actually just stare at Deku, as you ask if he's being serious. And Deku does just walk over to the Yautja and go to actually pull her up off the ground. Them looking at her face as Deku is going to drop her, talking about how he's completely serious, since that thing exists. Now, the Yautja is going to say something, as the two people do go to look down at her, and Deku is going to turn his head and talk back to her, telling her to just shut up for right now. Now, the two people do actually go back to looking right at Deku, as they ask if he can understand what it's saying. Yeah, actually I do. How is that possible? It's my quirk. Your quirk allows you to speak to an alien? No, it doesn't. My quirk allows me to reverse engineer anything I can get my hands on. In fact, I also know English. And at least 2 other languages. Really? Yeah. Her language is a lot harder to decipher, though. Along with that, she doesn't talk about anything much. With all the information I got from her, I at least know we're not anywhere near Earth. So where are we exactly? Well, that's just it. I'm not exactly too sure. No. The two people do stare at Deku, as they do then go to look towards the bunker. And Deku does notice that. As everyone, they do just stand there in a Mexican standoff. And the Yautja, she actually is staring at this. As Deku does talk about how they can have the bunker if they do want to. However, he did just want to get inside and at least take a load off. Exactly what do you mean? Whatever loot's inside there, you can have it. However, I just want to get some sleep. She attacked me in the middle of the night, and I've been up since. Along with that, this happened. They're at least looking, or at least pointing at the bandage on his face, talking about how one of the aliens got him right here, and they had him pinned to a tree. Really? Yeah. Now, Deku does actually walk over to the Yautja, as she just starts saying something to him in her language, and Deku just look down and respond back to her. Now, Deku just start to drag the Yautja away and talk about how they can at least wait a minute. Now, Deku does just set her down, as she actually is trying to ask Deku if he's really not aware of the traps. And there is actually one of the men, he does walk up to the door and go to actually grab the handle to turn it. As the moment that actually does happen, the explosion does blast the door off. And the man gets sent flying backwards as he's on fire. And the other lady, she actually is, well, sent flying too. Now, as that actually does happen, we do have Deku. Who, yeah, he did just turn his head to look towards the man, as he's dead. Now, the Yautja is just staring at Deku. As Deku, he does at least go to frown at that, before you do actually have the lady, who does go to stand up and scream at Deku that he knew that was booby-trapped, didn't he? Now, she actually is going to reach for a firearm, as Deku does just look towards her and he's going to do one thing. He does go to grab one of the knives from his belt and go directly just turn and throw. Very quickly. As she does go bringing the gun up, and Deku does go slicing off her trigger finger. As Deku does go rushing forwards. Now, she goes screaming out in pain. As you actually have where Deku, he did go rushing forwards towards her. Her trying to at least go to grab a knife with her other hand. And Deku, he'd actually get close to her before actually going to grab her and smashing her up against a tree. As the Yautja did watch this. Now, as the lady did go to actually bring her hand to try and stab Deku in the side, Deku did just go to do one thing. He did go to grab her wrist and go to actually turn it and spin it, before being able to take the blade from her and actually going to jab her right in her own body. Now, the Yautja, she did just watch that. As Deku, after going to jab her right there, he does just pull the knife outwards. And the lady, she does go falling against the tree. As Deku just tell her that that wound is non-fatal. However, she is going to try something. Deku going to reach down and grab her weapons, that he will kill her. You bastard. You knew the door was booby-trapped. And? I'm just trying to get back home, lady. You're a monster. You're just like the aliens. No, I'm not. This is very different. None of you understand exactly what's at stake here. You haven't seen what I've seen already. These last few days that I've been alive, I've seen a lot. I've seen a man with a hole in his chest the size of a bowling ball, where, thanks to some information I'm getting, I learned that these black creatures come from. They incubate in humans. So tell me, has anything gotten on your face and died? No. The lady, she's just staring at Deku, and she's going to look over towards her friend, talking about how something got on his face. Okay. That confirms my theory then. That book is right. What? The information in that book is correct. So, I at least have something to go off of. Now, I have a question. How many more of you are there? And what exactly is your quirk? I'm assuming you either don't have one or you can't use one right now because I either took off your finger and the fact that you're using a handgun. Now, the lady, she's just staring at Deku. This guy is crazy. He's a psychopath. Now, the lady doesn't tell Deku anything, as they just goes to stand up and pull back the bolts on the gun, talking about how at least this is Earthling based before we're going to bring it up and fire. Now, Deku, yeah, he does going to turn back around, as he does at least do one thing. He does turn back towards her body and go to at least unload 4 bullets in her chest. Now, the Yautja, she did just watch that stunned. He doesn't even have compassion for his own people. Now, Deku does walk over towards the other guy, as he does at least try to look and see what he does have on him. Now, Deku got a handgun from this lady, along with at least another knife. And from this guy, Deku at least did find some clips of ammunition. Along with that, there actually was his weapon. Now, Deku, yeah, inspecting this weapon, it's busted. It broke, and the explosion must have been to blame. There's a piece of shrapnel cutting right into this part, and into the rifle rifting. If that piece didn't cut into it, then this gun would at least be usable and feasible. However, right now, it's useless. Now, Deku at least does go to pull back the bolt and take out the magazine, as he's going to toss it down towards the guy. And he does at least just look down towards his chest. The fact that this guy isn't dead yet, or at least wasn't killed by that thing, or the chest burster as he has seen it referred to in the book, means that it hasn't been very long since it happened. So, for right now, he can only rely on himself here. He knows for a fact that these people, they're very dangerous. Everybody on this planet is. And it's only right to assume that they'll do whatever they can to survive. Since he could tell just from looking at them, along with the way that knife was thrown, that was training. That wasn't just dumb luck. Now, Deku is going to actually holster the handgun, as he does at least go to put the clips in his bag. And he does walk back over to the Yautja, going to grab the rope and start to pull her towards the door, as the two do walk in. Now, Deku does start to explain something to the Yautja, talking about how he would like to understand a bit more. Now, with that being said, we actually do have up in the trees where another Yautja actually was looking at this situation. The human is dangerous, this one in particular. So, what they need to do is be ready to take him down. Be ready to kill him. Now, Deku, yeah. After he does put the Yautja against the wall, he does go to walk out of the room and they start to inspect the bunker. Now, with that, Deku, he does do one thing. He does at least find something that does look a bit more interesting to him. Deku picking up a glove and looking right at it. Now, Deku's very intrigued, as he does go to put the glove on and at least start to form a bit of a fist. Now, Deku, he doesn't understand what this is for. However, he does at least go to bring up a knife and try to stab into one of his fingers very carefully, as he's very intrigued. Now, Deku, he knows that this glove is cut resistant, and even the palm of it is. Deku actually taking off the glove and trying to stab in it with a lot of force, and finding that it does actually deflect. Now, this is very interesting to Deku. Along with this glove, Deku actually does find some medical equipment, and he even does find something very strange. Now, among the strange things were a few grenades, and at least another weapon. Now, Deku he actually is going to reach down and grab this weapon, as he does pull out an actual hunting crossbow, or a hunting bow, that's made of sturdier material than just wood. Now, Deku he's very happy, so breaking that other bow was worth it in the end. Now, you know actually where Deku he actually does go to hear something, turning his head. Now, Deku he actually does go to put on the glove, and he does turn back around. Deku actually getting ready with a spear as he does go to undo it and turn it, as it does elongate. Now, Deku he does actually go to walk out of the room, as he does turn his head and look towards the entrance. The Yautja she couldn't get that far if she can cut through those restraints. So, the fact is, this isn't just her. The blast, someone must have heard it. Think. You can't see the enemy. Now, Deku does go to do one thing. As he does grab this grenade and go to pull the pin on it. Him rolling it down the hallway as he does actually go to turn his back against the wall. Now, the grenade, it actually would emit a EMP. And the moment that actually does happen, Deku, he does hear it. Deku immediately going to turn around the hallway as he does see a Yautja. Now, Deku does go rushing forwards as the Yautja does go to bring up his hands and go to pull the mask off of his face. Now, the moment that actually does happen, Deku does actually start to stab right into one of his arms. Deku cutting into the Yautja's forearm as the Yautja does scream out in pain and go to throw out a punch towards Deku. Now, Deku he does go to do one thing. He does bring up the glove as the Yautja does punch right into it and break Deku's hand. As Deku does somewhat just leap forwards and smash his face right into the Yautja's. Now, as actually has happened, Deku does actually go to spin the spear in his arm, or at least in his hand, as he does cut off the Yautja's arm. Now, the Yautja does go moving backwards, dropping his mask, as Deku he does go rushing in towards the Yautja. And the Yautja does go to try and grab one of his own weapons or one of his knives to fight Deku. Now, the Yautja in the other room can hear this battle, as it's trying to at least talk to or call for help. Now, as the Yautja does scream or at least talk, the other Yautja does hear that, turning his head towards the direction before looking back at Deku. As it does go to try and rush forward to slash right at Deku, and going in for the kill. This Yautja already has proved he's blooded, and he will be deemed worthy. Now, the moment it actually does go to slash forward towards Deku, Deku does do one thing. He does just go leaping backwards, as the Yautja, his body weight is too far forwards. Deku just going to throw out his fist and directly jab into it with a knife, or jab the spear right into the Yautja's arm, pinning him to the wall. Now, as Deku does do that, he does just do one thing. He does start to collapse the spear as it actually does go to fold backwards and into the Yautja's arm. Deku just ripping the spear outwards before going to bring it up towards the Yautja's head and twisting the blade. Now, or he does go to twist the thing. Now, the Yautja he does just stare at Deku as the blades do go to collapse together, cutting off his head. As the body of the Yautja does actually go slumping backwards. Now, this is very intriguing to Deku, as Deku he actually just going to bring up his hand or drop the spear for a minute and just going to pull off the glove, looking down at his hand. Now, Deku, yeah, he does going to grab something, and he does going to jab it right into his wrist as he does pull down the plunger. And Deku he actually starts to move his fingers some more, Now, Deku he's very intrigued. Wow. Now, Deku is very surprised to find that his fingers don't hurt anymore. Along with that, it does feel like whatever just happened to his hand, it's gone. What the fuck is inside this thing? Now, Deku's intrigued. This technology, it's healing. This stuff is light years ahead of Earth. If I could bring this back, there's no telling what it could do for us. Now, Deku he does go to take the Yautja's mask, as he does look over it, bringing his face up into it and putting it on. As Deku, he does hear Yautja communications. Now, the Yautjas, they actually do hear Deku's voice, as Deku does ask them exactly if they are willing to speak with him. Now, you do actually have where Deku, he does wait for a minute. There is no response on the other end, until suddenly Deku, he does hear a voice he can not only somewhat recognize, but actually understand. As Deku, he does ask if that's the man who was on the ship. And the Yautja does go to respond with yes. I see. Is it correct to assume that you know the Yautja I currently have in custody? Now, the Yautjas, they all do somewhat just wait. As Deku, he does ask once again, do they know the Yautja he has in custody? Because if they don't really see her as important, he will just kill her. And the Yautjas, yeah. The Elder, he does go to ask Deku exactly what does he want, since he's currently using this him saying the random name of a Yautja, or the Yautja Deku did just kill, his mask, and he's wondering exactly what happened to the other one Deku had. Deku's just going to grab down his belt and hold it up, talking about how an alien destroyed it. I see. Well now, this is very curious. A human could not only take down one predator, but two. Predator? Is that the nickname you give in your species? It would be apparent. So, exactly what is your species' actual name? I'm curious. I know you hunt for sport and entertainment. You're all very sadistic. And honestly, I think I can understand you in some sort of sick, twisted way. I was a hunter back on Earth. In fact, I've killed quite a bit of things here already. Aliens, humans, and my first Yautja. Now, the person on the other end is actually listening, as they do ask Deku's current kill count. And Deku, he does talk about 8. Now, this is all very surprising. They know that Deku did just kill a blooded Yautja, and now he has possession of his weapons. If this boy, this man, continues on with what he's currently doing, he's going to surpass the most kills on the hunt. This man's only been targeted for 2 days, and already 8 kills. So, this is very bad. Now, Deku does ask if they can see through the mask, and after getting a response, yes, Deku's going to do one thing. He pulls a gun out and goes to pull it backwards, or load a chamber or a bullet into the chamber, walking over to the Yautja as he's going to bring the gun up, asking if they really don't value her life. Now, the Yautja is staring up at Deku, as it does just see him wearing the mask. Now, Deku, he does wait for a response, as the man on the other end, he doesn't really say anything. And Deku, he's waiting. Now, the man does talk about how that's an unblooded Yautja, and she has not been deemed worthy of respect, but he has. Now, Deku does ask for more information, as he's going to bend onto one knee and look right at the Yautja, bringing the gun right up to her head. Now, the Yautja's staring at Deku. He's wearing another mask. He killed another one of her people. This is very bad. Now, Deku, he does get more and more information. As the Yautjas, they do respect him as a hunter himself. And they at least do want to give him a reward if he can survive the rest of the week. Now, Deku, he does hear about this. And he does at least ask what happens if he doesn't, or he does kill her then. As they do explain, the Yautja Deku currently has in custody is his granddaughter. Deku actually going to look right at the Yautja and at least say about how that's interesting. Yes, she has not been deemed worthy of my respect. However what? You have. Kill her if you do please. However, I myself will have your head. Now, Deku, he does just do one thing. He does go to pull off the mask and look right at the Yautja, going to say that her grandfather's a piece of work. As he is going to put the mask onto her face, and she does actually feel a breath of fresh air. As Deku does just watch her start to look around for a minute, and he's assuming that she's communicating with Grandpa, or her dad. Why did I say grandfather? Anyways, now, Deku just does go to stand up. And he does do one thing. He does go to get his weapon sorted, before walking over with a knife, and cutting the Yautja free. Now, Deku, he does just cut part of her restraints, before handing her a knife, and telling her to get the hell out of here. Now, the Yautja, she's staring at Deku. And Deku, he does just go to bring a bow, or at least an arrow, into his bow. Talking about how if Deku, he does see her again, he will kill her. Now, the Yautja is very confused. Deku, he's showing her mercy. But he didn't show mercy to anyone else. Not even humans? Why is that? Now, Deku, he does have a bit of a plan. He plans to try and get off this rock. However, there's a bit of a problem. Even if he gets out into space, it would be right to assume there's other ships out there. The Yautjas, if he doesn't even understand their technology, will just shoot him down. But if Deku, he can get in close, or at least gain more respect from them, it will show that he's worthy. Now, Deku and the elder Yautja, they at least did have another conversation. Deku learned that they base everything off of strength and off of killing prowess. Now, Deku, yeah, he's already falling under a certain category. And with the way things are currently going, a few things will happen. He won't be allowed to leave, either alive or dead. So, if Deku can survive the week, they will take him somewhere. And Deku, he will be at least allowed within the Yautja ranks. From what he understands, they will respect him, and at least view him differently. Now, this is very interesting to Deku. He still doesn't really understand very much of it. Their society is based off of who is the best hunter. So, he at least does know more about that. But the fact is, this is all more complicated. So, Deku just has to prove himself worthy, hopefully be allowed with the Yautja, or at least allowed to go somewhere where he can at least find out more things, and he can plan things from there. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.